Just looking at the basis and reasoning for opinions. Yeah. Following psychosocial history was supplied solely by the defendant's self-report. Yes. And is thus limited by the credibility of the defendant. Yeah. I'm not credible as a defendant. Is that right? Well, I was married on December 19th of 2000, or was it 99? I was married in a non-existent nation known as Kosovo that is now a nation. Yes, there was a Kosovar conflict that took place back in 98, 99. Yeah. You remember when the United States was involved in a little conflict called the Kosovar War? Yes. Was the army there? Could you just get me the generals that decided that there was some sort of problem with Kosovo or Czechoslovakia or one of these other nations, and they were arbitrarily killing people and enslaving them and depriving them of their rights? It seems that the army oftentimes wants to get involved in these wars when certain rights of other citizens are being violated, and well, they don't feel a compulsion to want to actually support and defend the Constitution of their own nation. It seems that they're only involved in other nations that happen to be violating the rights of those other citizens in other nations. Now, when you look at the strength of the United States Army, it seems that somebody was very abusive to those in Kosovo. Yes. Mm. And we went there to get married because I had been a host father, right, to two exchange students from Kosovo. Yeah. And Rotary, yes, actually gave them the visa to be in Port Angeles. Yes. Now, just looking at this, this United Nations marriage license, it was place and date of marriage. It was actually December 18th of 2000. Oh, the 19th must have been Maximilian's birthday. Yes, yes, yes. Now I know you'd say I'm delusional for getting the date wrong on my own marriage. He reported the United Nations issued our marriage certificate. Oh, isn't that what this is? You say I'm crazy for knowing where I got married at. I'm delusional, that I don't understand the importance of this marriage certificate. Why do you think the United Nations issued a marriage certificate? Was the United States very involved in a war called the Kosovar conflict? Yes. Why don't you get me the generals that were involved in the decision making about where the United States goes to war and when the United States goes to war? Certain atrocities. Oh, well, when does the Army go to war? This is an actual marriage certificate from the United Nations. It's a photocopy of the original that Heidi took when we lived on Guam. We were actually married in Jacova. Now, I just want to know, when is it that the United States military gets involved in international conflict because of the rights of citizens being violated? It seems that, oh my gosh, but they don't support and defend the Constitution of their own nation. They let judges and governors and sheriffs decide what the fuck happens. Now, would you think they were going to do tanks? See, let's say the army had went after them after the death of Abraham Lincoln, and they thought, no, when it's our own nation, we can have military tribunals, yes, and we can actually try people for treason. And they wouldn't want to do that because it's messy. It looks bad in the media. Or does it? Why would it look bad for the army to be strong? Why would it look bad, Sheriff? Why is it that the United States Army wouldn't want to make Clallam County the poster boys for treason and co-conspirators? Well, the Army, do they use propaganda to make themselves look good? Now, as a citizen, I really dislike an army that has no strength. Ouch. See, I dislike an army that doesn't really think that you can get rid of people just because you leave them on the PENCOM and there was no warrant that I'm still at large, am I? I'm out there someplace and you never arrested me. Where you could put them in jail for failure to appear. Yes. And it's not excessive bail, $500,100. Isn't that right, Judge Landis? Yes. You can continue to try people for crimes that they did not commit because you wouldn't admit the evidence that I wasn't in Brennan, Washington, that I never attempted to contact the petitioner by a third party. Yes. And that you, as judges, can never be tried by the United States military. It would make them look bad. The American population doesn't want to know of an army that does actually defend the Constitution. Now, for all the talk of veterans and all the other bullshit that they talk about, it's very rare that we actually see a strong military in the United States.